Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Max here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Nemo, and he's selling his Amazon FBA business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Nemo, and how are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing really well, thank you.
That's good to hear. I'm looking forward to hearing more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. It's an Amazon FBA site in the supplement niche, created in September 2009. The average monthly revenue for the business is $2,047 and makes an average of $1,280 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit the empireflippers.com marketplace and search for listing 47784 to learn more about the business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. Included in the sale is a listing transfer of 1 SKU, 7 domains and all site content files, an email list of just over 11,000 subscribers stored in MailChimp and ShipStation, the social media accounts including Facebook and Twitter, an eBay account, the supplier contracts and relationships, the SOPs, and approximately 555 items of inventory. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, can you tell us a little about your background in building and running online businesses?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. So I've been in the online business industry for the last, close to 20 years. And in that time, I specialize in digital marketing. And I've learned over that time that there are multiple ways to make money online. I know that one of the more popular sectors nowadays is how do you stay at home and make good passive income with low risk? And over the years, I have been fortunate to not only be a part of several of these businesses as an early employee, namely I was employee number 2 at Bloomfire, which is a software company. And then I was one of the first employees, say the first 20 or 30 employees at Kissmetrics, a software company in Silicon Valley. And I've been fortunate to see a lot of these businesses and have realized that some businesses are more low touch and truly passive income than other businesses. So as I started building up my own businesses and not just working for other people, I always wanted to focus on building businesses that were passive income. The business that I'm selling here is one of several businesses that I have, and I'm selling it because I want to take the money from this sale and invest it into my faster growing businesses. And I also want to focus myself, because if I do 3 or 4 things, I have the risk of doing 3 to 4 things poorly, which is something I just don't want to do. But this business here, I first encountered because I used to resell this supplement as a reseller. So I had a wholesale agreement with the owner and the founder of the brand. I sold a lot of the product on Amazon. It was part of my business at the time, where I sold a lot of different products and resold a lot of different products on Amazon. And then I quickly realized that this product was a hot product and it was received fairly well on Amazon. The gentleman continued to supply the product to me. And then one day I got an email from him saying that he was interested in selling the business and would I be interested in buying it from him. That was a bit of a surprise. I didn't know that he was open to selling, but I was very glad that he thought of me first. And so it was a very quick deal. We already had a pre-existing working relationship. There was a lot of trust already. And I already had a good sense of how the product would sell. So I acquired the business, and then I kept selling that product on Amazon. I also took the website and then started selling through the website using a variety of different offers, experimenting with different offers. And I found a whole bunch of different tactics that worked and also figured out which ones don't work all that well. So all of that knowledge, of course, I plan to include in the sale of the business to help the new owner of the business be successful with it. Then we also opened up another channel or 2 to sell the product through. And then the key employee that I was relying on to do all of this at the time, he decided to leave to become the CEO of a large venture-backed company in Korea. And so having lost a key employee, I had a choice to make. Do I put my own personal time and energy into growing this brand, or do I just sit on it and intentionally spend almost no energy on it and just collect passive income? I chose the latter. And so this business has been operating in a very simple way. It's not a complicated business at all. I've simplified it a little bit further. Now the primary sales are all through Amazon, and I just get a check. Well, I don't really get a check. I get a deposit into my bank account from Amazon every 2 weeks, and I don't touch it. I literally spend around 1 hour a week on it, and that's overestimating, to be honest with you. The daily work that I have to do is just log into the Amazon Seller Central account and make sure that any type of messages that are coming in are responded to within 24 hours, because that's what Amazon wants me to do. I get around 2 messages a month, so I don't even have to respond to that many, and most of them are spam. And then I just have to resupply and restock the product whenever Amazon's running short. And I mean, there are some other nuances such as, well, what do you do when you run out of inventory? You need to make more. All those are described on the listing, and I'm happy to talk with anyone about it. But it truly is one of those ideal passive income businesses. And I know there are many businesses out there which claim to be passive income. And then when you get into it, you realize it's not so passive. The reason why I know this is because I had some of them or had built some of them myself. And this is one that I really have enjoyed. So I feel like in the hands of a new owner, they could do quite well with it, and I'll be happy to help them be successful.
Yeah, and you mentioned part FBA, but also included as a website and an eBay account.
That's right.
So how does this primarily make money? Can you talk to us, sort of give us an idea of the split?
Sure. 99% of the revenue is from Amazon. That's where the buyers are. What happens is people who know about this brand, because back when it first launched, the owner then spent over $1 million on Google ads for it a long time ago, around 10 years ago. And so due to that ad spend and due to the large numbers of customers that he acquired back in the early days, there's still a brand name recognition. There's still word of mouth. People still talk about this brand. And so as you can imagine, if you hear about the brand, what do you usually do? You Google it. And right now, organically, when you Google for the brand, the Amazon listing pops up on the front page, as does the website. But with normal buying behavior here in the United States, where most of our customers are, including some in Canada, they like to buy from Amazon, maybe because they are a Prime member. And so they might click through the website just to read about the product, but when they actually buy, they buy through Amazon. So we're seeing that 99% of our sales coming through Amazon, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, and again, you mentioned that briefly, but where does the majority of the traffic come from currently? Is it organic? Is there any pay-per-click advertising being run?
It's all organic. The purpose, once my employee left, my main goal was to spend as little time as possible on the business because I had other businesses to attend to, and then just collect a check. And the business has performed and given stable sales over the period of me just holding on to the business and sitting on it. So that was my preference. No pay-per-click. There have been experiments run on pay-per-click, and there's data to support that, and I can share that data with anyone who's interested. But right now, it's just been selling organically through Amazon and also organically through the website.
And why did you choose this business model?
Well, I already knew that this business model was working when I originally resold the product. So when I eventually was sold the entire business, all I had to do was just keep it going and maybe add on to it. And I used my employee to develop the different marketing strategies that could add on to it.
And why did you choose the niche that it was in? Was it purely a business decision, or did you have any influence in this niche?
I personally don't have any influence in this niche. I am not a supplements guru. I am not a celebrity by any means. However, I do know that ingestible products tend to allow for reoccurring revenue because once people finish digesting the product and finishing the bottle, they'll buy again. And so that allows for reoccurring revenues, which allows for auto delivery programs and subscription programs. And I'm very comfortable with that. So there was additional upside for this type of product. I'd also resold a lot of different nutritional supplements. In fact, as I talk to you here, I'm staring at a shelf of nutritional supplements from various brands. And so I just knew the space fairly well. But honestly, the knowledge that I have of different supplements doesn't really help me build this business. There's some easy kind of takeaways that can help, such as bundling. When you bundle this product with other more well-known products and you sell those bundles on certain channels, that can deliver sales because we did it before and it did back in the day. But it requires a little bit more work. And that's why I stopped doing it after my employee left.
Can you describe the process of getting the inventory to Amazon?
Sure. So our manufacturer is over in New York State, and they've been around for quite a while. In fact, the manufacturer was referred over to me from the founder of the company, and I just kept working with the same one. They take the order. It's a couple of emails. They have everything already ready for the product because they've manufactured it so many times over. Place deposit, and then they make it around 45 days to 60 days in. They'll tell me it's ready for pickup. And then I use a website, which I can share, where I can get different logistics providers, transportation providers to bid on my project so I can get a good price. I pick the one I want to work with. They go to the location in New York State, fetch the pallet or two of the product, and then truck it all over to Amazon.
And do you hold on to any stock yourself for things like the website and the eBay accounts?
Yes, I keep a few dozen bottles or a little bit more, maybe a few more cases on hand in case there are sales that happen on the website. But I do know that for those who want an even more hands-off experience, they could absolutely use Amazon's fulfillment service to fulfill those website orders as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it sounds like you've tried a lot of different things, but is there anything that you've tried that didn't work out?
Yes. One of the things that did not work out so well was advertising the product on Facebook. At the time, Facebook's policies were strict towards nutritional supplements. I think that Facebook may have changed their policies more recently because I have seen some nutritional supplement products advertised on Facebook. I am not completely clear how they're going about it. I heard that back in the day, even when Facebook was restricting supplement advertisements, supplement companies would simply spin up multiple Facebook ad accounts, knowing that Facebook would eventually detect that they were selling something that they didn't like, and then they would just shut down that account. But because they had multiple accounts, they were okay with constantly being shut down, and they were making enough money to make that effort worth their while. So I chose not to bother with that. It sounded like a bit of a pain in the butt. And today, I think there might be more legitimate ways to do it. But Facebook ads were not particularly exciting for us.
And if you were to keep the business, what are some of the ways that you would try to grow it and improve it?
First of all, there is the email list of a little over 11,000 previous customers. As I said earlier, when people finish the product, they finish their bottle, many of them are open to, of course, buying it again because they ran out. And so tactfully emailing that list of 11,000 and applying email best practices is a good idea because last time we did it, we definitely got some sales out of it. And you can keep emailing that list and emailing that list. In addition to that, we also were successful in getting, I think we were able to double our sales volume outside of Amazon. So that's specifically doubling the non-Amazon sales channels in terms of transactions per day. We're able to double that number by taking the product, bundling it with other like-kind, more well-known products, and then offering those bundles on eBay. And so we had, I think, close to hundreds of SKUs, hundreds of listings generated that way. And we would start seeing meaningful, repeatable sales coming in. So that was also very, very interesting, essentially piggybacking off the brand name recognition of other brands. We also had good success with offering a sample package. So what we would do is take a small handful of these, and we offered on our website a combination of a sample. So it would be almost like a free trial of sorts, where we would give them this sample if they would just pay for shipping. And we would dramatically reduce the shipping costs as well. They would be automatically enrolled in an auto delivery program, which we would let them, of course, be aware of. You have to follow the Visa and MasterCard recommendations for these kinds of offers as well. So you want to be compliant. And we would see that people would want to try it. Sometimes we'd email this offer out to our lists. And so they would try it out, and then they would decide not to cancel. And so they would get a bottle shortly thereafter. And then we would get them on a monthly subscription and keep sending them bottles every single month. So that was also a good revenue generator as well.
What do you think some of the biggest risks associated with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
I would say being on top of changes on Amazon and staying compliant would be a material risk. I doubt that Amazon will simply cease selling supplements altogether. After all, supplements are a big industry, and they exist, at least in U.S. regulations, inside a regulatory space where they're allowed to be sold. You just have to be very careful in the language that you use to describe the benefits of your product. You don't want to lie, you don't want to overstate, and you don't want to claim medical proof when you don't have medical proof, for example. So you definitely want to follow those best practices. And as long as you are compliant with those practices and you're aware of any changes on Amazon and you stay compliant there, I'm confident that you'll be able to continue selling on Amazon. Amazon has also been good about letting people know when a change is coming up or giving you the chance to make corrections. So being aware of their communication with you and adapting to those changes is a great thing to do to take the risk out of the business.
And how much support would you be willing to offer a buyer? Is that the standard 30 days of email and Skype support?
Absolutely. I feel that as long as the buyer of the business is not trying to squeeze a university class out of me while we're doing the training, as long as it sounds fair and they're being genuine about it, I have no problems helping them be successful, especially in this kind of economic environment. I know a lot of people right now are getting hit hard. I know a lot of people right now have incomes that have completely evaporated because they can no longer do the job that they've been doing all these years. My girlfriend is one such person. She literally went from having revenue to nothing overnight because of the stay-at-home orders around coronavirus. So if someone is wanting to get into this business because they see it as a new way of feeding themselves and their families during this new world, of course I would want to help.
That's really nice to hear. Would you commit to a non-compete?
Absolutely.
And just a few last questions for our listeners. Was there any software or tools that really helped you when you started running this business?
I love using ShipStation. It really automates a lot of the grunt work around shipping. I highly recommend it.
That's a good one. What advice would you give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you started?
Don't overthink it. Sometimes businesses are really as straightforward as they sound. As long as you trust the person, and that's really important, sometimes these businesses are truly passive income. They are out there. You just have to be careful that you don't get tricked into one that is positioning itself as a passive income business, but truly isn't. I'm here vouching for this one and saying that it absolutely is a passive income business.
Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
I think that for the amount of money being asked, you could even borrow money to buy this business. And depending on the bank that you're working with and the terms that you get, especially if it's an FBA loan, the amount that you would pay every single month to repay that loan is actually lower than the amount of income that you would generate from the business. So it's a no-brainer to pick this business up because it won't even cost you money out of pocket if you decide to borrow money for it.
And last question for me, is there anything else you would like to share that I might have missed?
Nope.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you very much, Nemo, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 47784. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. And I'll see you in the next episode.